generators, and the barrier will fall?
A small section, yes.
Good enough. Johnson, drop the chief at the first generator, then head to the third. The elites will punch right down the middle.
Roger that.
Charlie, Foxtrot. Tower 1 approaches. Active AAA.
Mayday! I can't control her!
Pelican down! Pelican down!
Brace yourselves, we're going in a little hot!
Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th mission of my Halo 3 Legendary Walkthrough Guide. Today we'll be doing the mission, The Covenant. This is the penultimate mission in Halo 3, and let's get right on into it because it is really fast paced. Now the first thing you're going to do is take out these 2 shade turrets after you take out all those other grunts. Take out both of these shade turrets, there we go. And now you're going to try to take out these 2 brutes on the other side, but unfortunately I couldn't see them, so I just decided to take out that brute captain that is closest to us. Now taking out the grunts on the other side of the map, then we're gonna mop up the rest of the grunts that are on our side of the area. So we're gonna be taking out these 2, and then we can start mopping up the last of the grunts on the other side. Now we're gonna try to see if we can get the double kill with our 1 Spartan laser shot, and there it is. If you can't get that double kill, that is completely fine. Just use both of your shots to take out the brutes that you saw me take out. And then if you have an extra shot still in your Spartan laser, you can use it to take out this brute chieftain with the fuel rod gun, or you can, if you are out of ammo, you can pick up a plasma pistol and then just EMP him, and that will be it for that brute chieftain. Now, as I promised, we'll be taking this anti-aircraft wraith. So you're going to EMP it like we normally do with every other wraith. You're going to EMP the brute, and then you're going to position yourself where you're basically about to headshot it, and then you're also going to press your basically whatever button it is you use to get into the vehicles. You're going to press that, and you're going to hit those at the exact same time. You do not want to hit those at separate times. You want to make sure that when you shoot, you also are holding down your whatever button it is that you use to get inside of a vehicle. So that is how you hijack the anti-aircraft wraith in Halo 3. But moving on, with the anti-air wraith, you're just going to be using it to take out the banshees, as well as all the other enemies between you and Tower 1. It is a really good. The anti-air wraith is extraordinarily helpful in this part of the mission, and I highly recommend using the strategy and hijacking it whenever you can. Now there's going to be 2 ghosts that charge out from this area at you. There's also a shade turret, as well as multiple enemies, lots of jackals, lots of grunts on the ground near you. Whereas, as you see here, there's a few that just like started shooting at me, but that's basically just the entire first engagement. The very first 3 minutes of this mission are extremely action-packed. There's a lot going on. But now we just get to drive on to Tower 1. Now, Tower 1, when we get up there, we're just going to use our anti-air wraith to take out all the enemies before we get up to the tower itself. So we're just basically going to... there's a few shade turrets that we're going to be taking out. There's going to be that 1 wraith in the middle. There's going to be a couple prowlers, as well as a few ghosts. And it's going to be really it's basically a lot going on, as I've been saying. Now your goal is to try to snipe those two grunts getting into their ghosts, but unfortunately I missed. So we have to sit here and basically just hold down our whatever button you use to fire, and just basically sit here and just take them out. Just hold it down, and then on your immediate left there is a shade turret. As soon as you shoot a good salvo of shots at it, you want to drive away into cover. That way the shade turret does not eat at your shields. Now we're going to be taking out the wraith next, right here. Let's see. You want to kind of lead your shots with the anti-air wraith. You want to make sure that whatever happens, at least some of your shots are hitting this wraith. Now once a good portion of your shots hit, there we go. I think we just got the driver and the gunner, so now we're just trying to make sure that nobody else can get in it. So now we're going to be taking out that shade turret, but you also want to be conscious of the prowlers that come out right there. So you want to start shooting a salvo as soon as you possibly can. As soon as you see those prowlers, you're going to want to start shooting the anti-air raid shots towards that direction. Now we only got one of the prowlers, so we have to get the other prowler, and lucky for us, they drove right into our shots. So we're just going to start by taking out the last of the Covenant in the area by taking out that shade turret. Now they're going to drop off a good amount of ammo for you, but we're going to be using our anti-air wraith to also take out all these enemies over here. But unfortunately, my anti-air wraith got stuck by one of the plasma grenades, so we're just going to be really hyper aggressive. Going to toss a grenade on top of that shade turret, get a nice kill-tacular, and just mop up the rest as we see fit here. Taking out the last one. There we go. Alright. So before we move on, we're going to make sure we have some battle rifle ammo. They dropped off some battle rifle in one of those weapon pods for you. And you're also going to pick up a beam rifle. The beam rifle is going to be found up this little like ramp area inside of one of these weapon crates. Now we're going to be going inside of the spire to deactivate Tower 1. Trying to make sure we get some of these nice little slide jumps as you see here.
Stick together. Check your corner.
Going inside. We're going to be saving that cloaking as you saw there for later. We're going to use our battle rifle to take out some of the enemies here. Trying to take out that jackal on the other side. The grunts on the second level as well. Come on, jackal. Poke your head out. There we go. Now, once we take out that jackal, we can worry about taking the rest of the enemies out here. We have a few grunts here on the left. There's going to be a few more on the right as well. But what the goal here is, I'm going to try to take out the jackal marksman over here as well. But we got to make sure our shield is recharged before. Alright, so now that we've taken out that, we want to hop on top of this. And you're going to basically do a neat little crouch jump that will allow you to basically bypass all the enemies between you and this elevator. But the thing is that you want to be like, it's all about timing with this jump. So you might as well just jump from the box itself, and that will get you up here. And behind me, by the way, is a terminal if you want to use that. But I also have this power drain. Look at this brute trying to fight that marine. But anyways, once you get to the top of this elevator, what you're going to do is you're going to take out your beam rifle. This is why we took it. You're going to basically just start trying to take down this brute chieftain. He's your main target. Use the power drain that you picked up to take out the shields of both of basically every brute in here. And then one headshot will finish off the chieftain if you were able to get the shots off with your beam rifle. Now, he did drop an invincibility, which is nice for us because usually sometimes he'll drop a flare instead. So this is going to be really nice for us. Because in any case, if he doesn't drop an invincibility, you go grab a cloak. But here comes a cutscene, guys. I'll see you on the other side.
Good work, Chief. That's one. The Arbiter should be just about to... That's two. It's all up to Johnson's team now. Get back outside, Chief. Wait for transport. Johnson.
Alright, now that we've deactivated the first tower, all we have to do now is head back to the beach to go rescue Johnson at Tower 3.
I'm on my way.
So, we're going to be heading back towards the elevator. We're going to be facing towards the back of the elevator because all the enemies that we didn't fight, basically any enemy that we didn't kill on the way into the tower, we're going to be fighting them on the way out of the tower. All of them flock to the very front doors, so you can't escape these enemies. But you can help yourself by keeping yourself, as you see here, basically at a distance from those enemies. Now, tossing the frag grenades because I noticed that there's quite a bit of jackals here, quite a bit of grunts. So using the weapons that you have to your disposal, making sure that you know that, for example, a frag counters a grunt or a frag counters a jackal. It's a very good way to be able to play around certain disadvantages that you might have, especially in terms of numbers. Now, mopping up the last of those enemies, very easy. As you see there is a cloaking. You want to take that whenever you can. But if you do have an invincibility, you want to keep your invincibility because that is going to be stronger than cloaking. But if you do need cloaking, if you didn't get an invincibility off that brute chieftain, I recommend picking up that cloaking. Before we leave, we're also going to pick up a beam rifle. And then after that, we're just going to beeline it for this mongoose and then head straight to the beachhead. Now, it's been pretty action-packed for the last 10 minutes of this mission, so I want to take a little bit of this downtime to explain some of the skulls and also the next part of the strategy. So, the skulls that we have on for this mission are iron because this is a no-deaths run. We also have I Would Have Been Your Daddy, Cowbell, and Grunt Birthday Party because every single time we kill one of the little grunts, it's got to be a party. Now, onto the strategy. We're going to basically be using the Hornet, and we're just going to be playing from afar. We're just going to be using our missile turrets. We're trying to get, like, it's like that weird balance between trying to be extremely aggressive while also trying to be extremely safe. And that's the entire purpose of the Hornet. So when we get into one of these Hornets, you're going to get to the one that's closest to you. And then you're going to hop right on in. And then we're going to get right on into this this engagement. So when we get to this point, you see a bunch of Banshees. There's also a Phantom. Our goal here is to target down any of these Banshees that we possibly can and get it to the point where those Banshees as well as that Phantom fall back. You have some reinforcements in that there's a Pelican, and you also have a friendly Phantom that is going to be helping you out in a moment, because at Tower 2 is where the Arbiter and the other elites also were deactivating, and they're basically going to help you out clear the skies. There's a lot of UNSC forces helping you clear out the area, so you want to use that to your advantage. You also want to make sure that when you do send out your missiles that you are locked on, that you have hit that red reticle, because if you don't, then those missiles will just fire blindly, and there's a very small chance that those missiles will actually hit. But if you have the red reticle on that you locked on, there's a higher chance that those missiles will hit rather than no chance of it hitting. Before we move on and take out the last of the enemies, we're just going to destroy that anti-air wraith as well as the other enemies on this little island here. I do not want to get shot in the back. You don't really need to worry about this island, but for me, I've played this enough where things happen and you just kind of get screwed. So for me, I like to clear out all the enemies before I move on. So taking out the last of the Banshees before we move on. As you see here, it's extremely safe. Like, I'm not playing extremely aggressive. I'm kind of just holding down the fire button and just like whenever I get in range, I send out my missiles. That's basically the strategy. Now, once you take out the last of the Banshees, this Phantom is really all that you have to worry about. So just start sending salvo after salvo of missiles at them. You have that Pelican there distracting this Phantom. But the Phantom will pull back quite aggressively. It will really quickly pull back. So you just have to make sure that you're conscientious of the remaining Banshees in the sky. So if you have to, take out those Banshees if they're being really aggressive. But as you see here, I'm really just taking my time, just prioritizing that Phantom. And once it's destroyed, I can mop up the last of the Banshee forces up in the sky. Now, once we destroy all the Banshees in the sky, we are going to be starting to focus fire the two anti-aircraft wraiths on both sides of Tower 3, as well as the wraith in the middle of both of those anti-air wraiths. There's also going to be a few shade turrets between on both sides of the wraith, so you're also going to need to focus fire that down as well. As you see me just taking down this one shade turret and then the second shade turret. Now we're going to be taking out the last anti-air wraith. And then after you destroy the anti-air wraith, you want to stay inside of your Hornet. There's going to be lots of enemies here. You can use your Hornet here to help mop up all these brutes. There's a ton of brute captains, a lot of brute miners, and you just want to make sure that you help yourself out as much as you possibly can. I mean, I'm already on an overkill. Like, there's a lot of ways that I mean, you don't want to be outside of your Hornet trying to like mop up all these enemies. Like, you even want to make sure that you get down to the ground level and sit there and try to shoot inside the hallway if you can. Now, before we move on, we're going to be backing off. Once you mop up all those enemies, by the way, you can get out of your Hornet, and then you're going to be trading in your battle rifle for a fuel rod gun over here in this crate. It's in this back corner, right where we killed that the right anti-air wraith. You're going to want to pick one of these fuel rod guns up, and then you can head on into the tower. Now, there's a few other enemies still remaining inside the tower. Got a nice little sticky on that brute. Trying to get the second one. Unfortunately, I didn't, but there's still a lot of help. The Arbiter is here to help you out. A few of his elite buddies are here to help you out as well. You can drop your beam rifle if you want to, just like kind of temporarily take out a few enemies, and just like that, that is pretty much it for those brutes. Now, you're going to get your fuel rod gun out, and you're going to want to immediately look up and start firing right in the middle. You're going to want to try to get as many of the buggers down as possible. As you saw there, I got a quadruple Killionaire. That is pretty bonkers, and that helps us out a lot, because now all we have to do is worry about these hunters. We didn't want to try to hurt our friends, so that's why you saw me kind of like hesitant. Like, I didn't want to kill any elites. I just wanted to worry about taking out the hunter. Usually, like 5 or 6 takes him out, and that's pretty much all you need when fighting those hunters. Now, trying to backtrack, trying to see if we can get ourselves a nice little plasma rifle. That's gonna be good for when we fight the brutes in the top level. So, unfortunately, we don't have a way to get up to the second level like we did with the first tower, where we just did a nice little crouch jump up. We have to sit here and we have to fight through these enemies here. So, using our beam rifle, we're gonna mop up these brute miners that came and charged at us. There's a few more brutes up here. We're gonna be taking them out with our beam rifle. Being hesitant to push up, taking out that last brute miner, and then we're going to be very careful before we move up, because there are still quite a few buggers that are going to be hopping on down. So making sure that we are aware of that, using our beam rifle to finish off those last enemies. Now, once we do that, we're going to be getting on the elevator, heading up the elevator to fight the next brute chieftain, as well as his a company of brute captains and or miners. All right, so this is where you would probably want to use your invincibility, or if you have invincibility, this is where you want to use it. Trying to see if we can grab a plasma pistol. Now, the plasma pistol is going to be nice to take out the shielding of the special ops brutes. As you saw there, got a few hits. So Spec Ops brutes, as well as Spec Ops elites, just like in Halo 1 and Halo 2, they have very little shields. You just need to basically shoot them a little bit with the plasma pistol, and that's all that you need to do to take out their shields. And then at that point, they're extremely easy to kill. Like, trying to see if we could take out one of these. There we go. So once you take out their power armor, it's really, really easy for you to just finish them off with like a needler or a beam rifle, for instance. As you see here, we're just trying to get trying to see if we can get the shots that we need to off on this brute chieftain. Got that one. Alright, so unfortunately we're gonna have to improvise, because that was all the precision weapons that I have to be able to take down that brute chieftain. So as usual, like that's one of the reason why I like to make this guide, is like I want to show that like sometimes you have to improvise. So, still trying to use our needler to take out these Spec Ops brutes. Trying to be as aggressive as possible, using our invincibility at this point. There we go. Now we can just start lobbing incendiary grenades at them, and that's pretty much it. Now we can deactivate the third tower, and just like the first one, there is a cutscene, so I'll see you on the other side.
Now, Prophet, your end has come.
High Charity. By the gods, brace for impact!
Alright guys, now that things have gotten a little bit more complicated with High Charity and the Flood showing up, we just need to get out of this tower. Our goal at this point in time is just to get back to the entrance of this tower, get rendezvous with all of our elite friends, all of our allies, and get out of this tower and start heading our way to Truth. So, when the Flood comes in, you're just going to use your needler. If you don't have a battle rifle, I recommend using your needler to basically level out all these flood combat forms. So, trying to fight our way out. There's going to be a group of combat forms that are going to be meeting you at this door here. So we're just going to get a grenade ready right here. If you have any frag grenades, this is the time that I would recommend to use them. If you have incendiary grenades as well, again, I would recommend using them because they're going to be very strong against the Flood. Picking up a battle rifle to be able to headshot some of these Flood. Gonna bypass some of these Flood infection forms. Saw there was a Flood combat form, an infection form infecting a dead body of a brute. But we're not worried about that. We're just worried about getting to our allies and then basically hopping into the tank that's about to get dropped off. Now, this is the fight this is the ultimate fight. This is the basically this is the hardest part of the Covenant, but this is also the most I almost would say this is the spirit of Halo right here in this one gigantic fight. It is without a doubt the best fight, the best sequence of fight between any of the original trilogy that has ever happened. So let's get right on into it. There's going to be a brute right here, dead in front of you. There's going to be also a prowler that's going to come on in. It's basically the only other enemy that you have to fight. Then there's going to be a few brutes here on the right hand side. There's going to be a brute chieftain with a fuel rod gun. He's going to be able to track you, so make sure you are just kind of avoiding his fuel rod gun shots, and then just keep on going, pushing with your allies, the guy in the mongoose as well as the group of Marines in the Gauss Hog. Now keep on pushing through. This next area is going to be quite a bit of a pain to get through because there's quite a bit going on. The very first thing you're going to see here is a shade turret, as well as one of these sniper towers just went up as well. Then we're going to be getting some air as well, by the way. There's a lot of Banshees. Sometimes you can snipe one of these Banshees out of the air, but we're just focused on taking out the sniper towers as well as the shade turrets. There's going to be more prowlers coming on in, so make sure that you are ready to take them down. So taking out that Gauss Hog kind of stunned it, messed up my shot, but it's going to be okay because that will level out that prowler. And then there's just a few more ghosts to take out right here, as well as a shade turret on this this bottom area right here. So we're just trying to make sure we look for it. There it is. That brute kind of got out. Pansy. Oh, there we go. That deployable cover served that guy no purpose. Alright. So when we go over here, there's going to be a Wraith mortaring this area, this little junction between where you're coming from and basically like that straight shot. So you're just going to make sure that you take out this Wraith as well as that Shade Turret as carefully as you can. Now that that's done, taking out the last few enemies here on the right, taking out that sniper tower, and just basically now we can beeline it right for the Hornets. Now, there's going to be quite a bit of action going on here, but all you're going to be focused on is using this Hornet to take out a Scarab. That is all. So as soon as you get out, you're going to go straight to the far right Hornet, and then you're going to get 2 Scarabs. 1 and 2. You're going to be fighting the one on the left with your Hornet. And then what we're going to be doing with this Hornet is we want to make sure that we take out as many of the enemies on the Scarab as possible before we get out of the Hornet. Targeting down this Banshee, making sure that we're safe in the skies, as well as taking down these ghosts, because we do not. There's a lot of times where I've had to that I've gotten killed at this point in time in the mission simply because a Banshee or a ghost was harassing. So make sure you take them out as well. But after you take out those enemies, you can start to focus down on the brutes on these Scarabs. Reason why we focus these guys is we need to be able to board one of these Scarabs, and we need to get out of our Hornet to do so. Once we take out a good portion of these enemies, you can get out of your Scarab by doing get out of your Hornet and get onto the Scarab just like this. And then you're gonna jump on down to the second level, basically trying to get off of the side here. There we go. I found the front of the Scarab. And then what your goal here is to get to the back. It takes a few melees to break the shield. And then a few more melees here to destroy the Scarab. Now that you've destroyed this Scarab, you can get back to your tank to destroy the other Scarab, just like what we did in the Ark. You're just going to drive around the Scarab in your tank and just shoot at its legs and shoot at its back. That is all you're going to have to do. So the first Scarab gets taken out by your Hornet. The second Scarab gets taken out by your tank. That is the strategy that you can employ to make sure that, because after we got out of our Hornet on that Scarab exploded. That means that Hornet, unless you were able to park it in a nice location and it didn't get destroyed, is kind of out of commission. So we have to go back to our main source of firepower, and that is the Scorpion here. Now, once you do this, you can start to do exactly what we did in with the Hornet. Just take out a few of the enemies. They're all going to be kind of jumbled up at the very front. So feel free to use your tank to take a few shots at the front of the Scarab, and then you're going to, just like I said, shoot at its legs, and then once it's disabled, you can drive behind it, shoot it in its back a few times, and then that will allow you to shoot right dead in front of it. So now that we've disabled the Scarab, we go immediately to the back of the Scarab, just shooting at its legs, making sure that we can keep it disabled. So as you see here, this little red thing on the very back here, you're going to shoot it in its back a few times. Trying to see, there we go. You shoot it once, you shoot it twice, and there you go. That is taking down the 2 Scarabs. Now once you take out both Scarabs, just make sure you get down into cover. Of course, we want to make sure that we are safe from the Scarab's explosion. And then once it explodes, you can go straight to the ramp to get inside of the activation, like the control room, I guess you would call it. And that's pretty much, if you make it this far, all you have to do now is basically kind of just, I know it's been out for a while, but I'm not gonna spoil what probably is my favorite cutscene in Halo, in the entire franchise, including Infinite and all the other ones. But This next part is really just about just using range and basically just playing off of what enemies you're facing. And you can be as fast as you want, you can be as slow as you want. All that matters is that you take down some enemies. But in a few moments we're going to be getting a cutscene, so I'm going to be quiet for that little section, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Asked, and I answered. For a moment of safety, I loosed damnation on the stars.
My faithful, stand firm. Though our enemies crowd around us, we tread the blessed path. In a moment I will light the rings, and all who believe shall be saved.
Chief, how close are you?
Not close enough.
That the best you got? Oh, come on. Impress me. Stop! You imbecile! He wants you to kill him. I'd prefer that you did not. What's the matter, big shot? Can't start your own party? I admit, I need your help. But that secret dies with all the rest.
Johnson, sound off.
Get out of here!
Not without you.
You delay the inevitable. One of you will light the rings. You cannot hope to kill them all.
You're right.
Do it. Me, and you. Now. No! Your forefathers wisely set aside their compassion, steeled themselves for what needed to be done. I see now why they left you behind. You were weak, and gods must be strong.
Do not shoot, but listen. Let me lead you safely to our foe. Only you can halt what he has set in motion.
Alright guys, this is what it's all been building towards. Revelation. Let's get right on into it. So on the other side of this map, there's going to be a few grunts here with few odd guns. Take them out first. Prioritize them because they can end your run right here. And then after you take them down, you're going to want to start to take out the other grunts and jackals around. Making sure you use your battle rifle to basically take out all these other enemies. Now there's only one brute in this area. He's a brute captain, so make sure that you try to prioritize him whenever he pops up. But in any case, just try to keep letting keep taking out enemies so you can keep the pressure going with your fled allies. Trying to see if we can use any more of this battle rifle to take out that brute on the other side, but I don't see it happening, so we're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive. Using our needler here, we can try to see if we can take out that brute captain. Luckily we were able to, and then we can use the needler to take out the remaining grunts in the area. Now, once you push this door, you also are going to have to deal with a few more grunts with fuel rod guns, and then once you take them out, it's basically just pick up a fuel rod gun and head on into the next section of our push towards truth. Taking out that grunt that was kind of taking cover there. And then we're just going to lob a few grenades down there. See, oh, we got one. Nice. So, at this point, we're just going to be taking out as many brutes as possible so we can turn them into flood combat forms. The more brutes that you take out, the better. But also remember that the flood will end up betraying you in this mission. So make sure that you also kind of like weaken the flood as well, so you don't have to fight as many flood combat forms on your way out. Trying to take out with our carbine some of these brutes. Come on. Got a grunt with a fuel rod gun on the very far side, trying to make sure we take him out. Fortunately, he's not being nice, so we're just gonna send a few fuel rod shots down that way. Might have to point it a little bit further up to be able to get to land a shot. So trying to see if we can get a few shots like that, and that should take out that grunt. There's another one on this side, so make sure you keep an eye out for him too. And then trying to see if we can take out this brute chieftain over here with the gravity hammer. We also have the arbiter with his sword out, so there is that. All right, so now it's only the brute chieftain, so we can just start to play really aggressive. If the brute chieftain does try to be aggressive, you can always sidestep him like we always have done. Trying to see if we can just take him out with our carbine though. Come here, Mr. Brute. Come here. Oh, there we go. Now, once you kill that brute chieftain, you're just going to pick up his gravity hammer, grab as much ammo as you possibly can, and then head towards truth. After you basically make it through that point, all you have to do now is basically activate the light bridge that will take you to truth. Trying to see if we can pick up any more ammo, but at this point, it's just the last cutscene and then the final fight, and that's pretty much it. So I'll see you on the other side.
Stop the rings. Save the rest.
Can you see, Arbiter? The moment of salvation is at hand.
It will not last.
Your kind never believed in the promise of the sacred ring.
Lies for the weak, beacons for the deluded. I will have my revenge. On a prophet, not a plague.
My feet tread the path. I shall become a god.
You will be food, nothing more.
No! I am truth, the voice of the covenant.
So, you must be silenced. A fate you must abide. We trade one villain for another.
Alright guys, now that the flood have betrayed us, we need to beeline it towards the lift on the other side of this hallway. This is the reason why we grabbed that gravity hammer. We need to be able to fight the not fight the Covenant, but fight the flood up close while being able to play at range with our carbine. The gravity hammer is good for close encounters. The carbine will be good for if you need to keep your distance and play a little bit more passive. We're going to be tossing down our bubble shield and basically just trying to get away from the flood as fast as we possibly can. If you stay in any one spot for very long, you will get overwhelmed by the flood. Make sure that you are being like passive but also aggressive at the exact same time. You don't want to be getting overwhelmed by a bunch of flood combat forms. So you just want to keep pushing forward. If you need to hold up in like an area, make sure you are 100% in cover and just basically just keep moving. That's all I could say is like even when your shields get a little bit down, just keep moving forward. Now when you get to this point, you're almost out. You're almost home free. All you need to do now is use these sentinels to your advantage and just kind of play from range. Use your gravity hammer if you need to take out any combat forms, and also use it to take out any carrier forms. But once you get to this point, guys, that is basically it. All you have to do now is hop on down to that blue light, and that is it. That is the Covenant on Legendary difficulty with no deaths. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys did, please leave a like down below, and I'll see you guys next time for Cortana. Thank you guys again for watching.
What do you see? Replacement. The ring you destroyed.
When did you know?
Just now. But I had my hopes. What will you do?
Light it.
Then we are agreed. A tactical post will completely eradicate the local infestation. I will personally oversee the final preparations, though it will take time to fabricate.
How will you light it?